on Lafayette's schedule, there aren't, other than Villanova, maybe Seton Hall, and the Big East isn't what it used to be. There aren't any real giant killers, but I'm telling you, up and down this schedule, every night, night in and night out, there are a bunch of teams like Robert Morris, and they're pretty darn good.
Well, let's take a look at their starting lineup. From the team they had last year, they lost, John, almost 3,500 points and almost 1,500 rebounds. But they have two good starters back, and they are laden with talent.
Absolutely. Lucky Jones is 6'6", a defensive stopper. He's a terrific athlete. And the big guy in the middle, Mike McFadden, is 6'8", Gary. He leads them in rebounding and scoring, but they've got a number of guys with great quickness. It's really been an Achilles heel defensively. Let's watch for them to dribble, penetrate, and kick out. This is one team in the country that can match Lafayette three-pointer for three-pointer.
Yeah, they actually took more three-pointers last year than Lafayette did. And when you take more than Lafayette, that's a lot of threes. Let's take a look at the Lafayette starting lineup. And again, Joey Tazinski will stay on the bench and come in. He was hot on Friday night, 13 points. But they got good games out of Hendricks. They got a good game out of Bryce Scott. And Lafayette, I thought, played very well Friday night.
They absolutely did, and if you think that the renovation to Kirby Sports Center was great, how about the renovation at point guard? Gary, you know, losing Tony Johnson is a huge, huge loss for the Leopards, but Nick Lindner, the freshman from Germantown Academy, acquitted himself very, very well down at Villanova in his backyard. He came from Germantown Academy. One other thing, Gary, you know, Fran O'Hanlon is not likely to start freshmen all that often. Nick's the first guy to do it since Timmy Big, but I have to tell you, he also Fran O'Hanlon likes to make substitutions and get stronger with that first one. That's one of the reasons why Joey Tazinski is coming off the bench.
Yeah, he was running 3 or 4 guys in all the time on Friday night against Villanova. We're in new digs, and they are absolutely beautiful. Sit back, enjoy the ball game. Lafayette taking on Robert Morris on the Lafayette Sports Network.
The continued success of the Lafayette football program is made possible through the generous support of the Maroon Club's Friends of Lafayette Football. This network of alumni, parents, and friends of football has enjoyed record-breaking growth, and you can get in on the excitement.
I'm head coach Frank Pavani. I invite you to join the Friends of Lafayette Football and help me continue building upon our success.
Welcome back. We want you to get a very good look at the Kirby Sports Center. $1.7 million renovation. The seats at both ends now, which is highly unusual for the Kirby Sports Center, but Fran O'Hanlon likes it because he's going to have supporters at both ends. There's the new electronic scoreboard, and across the way is an electronic panel in front of the scorekeepers. John, just a magnificent facility.
Gary, I've been walking into this place now for 34 years, and I hardly knew it. I mean, you walk in, it just smacks you right in the face. It really is a first-class facility.
Let's go to the starting lineups. It will be the Colonials of Robert Morris who will be introduced first, as they won on Saturday night by an 86-66 score over Savannah State. Mike McFadden, number 1. He is a starter who's back. 6'8". Oh, we're going to go to Jim Finnan. He'll get it. Get our starter.
At guard, a 6'2" senior from Elkhart, Indiana, number 15. Co-captain Carvel Anderson. At forward, a 6'6" junior from Newark, New Jersey, number 22, Lucky Jones. And at forward, the 6'5" sophomore from New Bern, North Carolina, number 24, Aaron Tate. Assistant coaches Michael Burns, Joe Gallo, and Robbie Pridgeon. Head coach of the Colonials in his 4th season is Andy Toole. I'm ready. You guys tell me when.
Jim Finnan waiting as they play a video here. You can see it in the upper part of your screen before they introduce the Lafayette Leopards. This is their first home game. The women played here on Friday night. The women are 2-0 on the season. Now we can turn it back over, I believe, to Jim Finnan.
Lafayette College Leopards. Starting at a guard position, the 5'10" freshman from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, number 11, Nick Lindner. At a guard position, the 5'10", the 6'7" junior from Claris City, Minnesota, number 12, Seth Hendricks. At guard, the 6'3" sophomore from El Dorado Hills, California, number 14, Bryce Scott. At forward, the 6'9" junior from Sydney, Australia, number 20, Dan Trist. And at forward, the 6'6" junior from Dexter, Missouri, number 22, Alan Flanagan.
There you get a look at head coach Fran O'Hanlon in his 9th season, 3 times coach of the year. He is 258 and 276 in his career. The officials for tonight's ball game: Gary Duda, Mike Berry, and Tom Adanasi. Andrew Toole, the head coach on the other side, just 32 years old. He is 68, make it 69 now, and 36 in his career. Spent a year as an assistant here at Lafayette. Dan is ready. Here's Dan Mowdy for his first report.
With Andrew Toole, the head coach of the Colonials, and you know he was the assistant coach here for a year under Fran O'Hanlon. Also played for the other Fran Dunphy, when he was a player down at University of Pennsylvania. He says he takes that discipline that he learned from both Frans to his ball club. Everything starts with the defense. His team likes to run, and according to one of those Frans, Fran O'Hanlon, we've got to watch out for a couple of sharpshooters tonight. Jones and Anderson can light it up. Fran O'Hanlon respects this team that Andrew Toole is leading, says that they're capable of 20 wins at any time during any particular season. Now back to you guys.
Well, they were 24-11 last year, 14-4 in the Northeast Conference. The last couple of years, John, they've been snake bitten. They've had the best regular season record. They haven't been able to win the tournament. And last year went to the NIT, and as I mentioned earlier, they knocked off Kentucky in round 1, lost to Providence in the second round. Lafayette, if you listen closely to Jim Finnan, you realize that they do not start a senior. They are very, very young even yet, but also high expectations for the Leopards. They're going to play their matchup zone. That's what they played against Villanova, and they did it very well. Nice drive, but unable to finish is Mike McFadden.
Yeah, well done. That's going to be a problem. Mike McFadden is a tough matchup, Gary, because as big as he is, he can still face up. And they got to get away from this. You don't want to turn the ball over against a team as fast as Robert Morris, because they turn in to 2 easy points quickly.
And it was Lucky Jones that got that bucket, so it is a 2-0 Robert Morris score. Nick Linder in his opening ball game Friday night, he had 7 assists in that ball game, 4 for 4 from the foul line, 8 points. He did commit 4 turnovers in the game, but all in all, not only did Fran O'Hanlon think he played well, so did Jay Wright, the Villanova head coach. Alan Flanagan can't get it to fall. Rebound controlled by Lucky Jones.
You're going to see a lot of similarities between these two teams. They run the same kind of offense. Oh, that's just good ball movement.
That extra pass does not drop. Good rebound for Dan Trist. Lafayette had a lot of long rebounds from Villanova on Friday night. They did a nice job on the boards. Inside, Seth Hendricks up, and that won't go. So the new digs so far have not been very cooperative around the rim.
Lafayette getting pretty good looks, though. They're running their offense well, Gary, but again, when you're going up against a team like Robert Morris with their quickness defensively, every pass and every cut is being challenged.
On the out-of-bounds play, Linder has it. Linder picked up by Anthony Myers-Pate. They got 21 points out of Carvel Anderson on Saturday night, 12 from Mike McFadden. Danny Trist pull-up jump shot. He can't get it to fall. The Lafayette gets their own rebound, gets it back.
Carvel Anderson is a classic streak shooter. I had a chance to watch that game, Gary, and he didn't have much going on in the first half, but it didn't take him long. Once he hit the first one, he was on fire.
I guess not. He had 18 second half points out of the 21. Bryce Scott, he can't get it to fall. Another Trish rebound. Danny inside, he'll put it up, and that won't go. Lafayette another rebound. How about 4 chances?
Great job of being persistent on the offensive glass, and that's a terrific sign for the Leopards early, Gary.
Our first tie of the basketball game.
And Fran wants to show some pressure. This is a tempo press. John Wooden used it years ago, and they just created a 10-second call. It was kind of a loss of concentration on the part of Robert Morris.
Go back and take a look at what was a second, third, fourth, and a fifth effort.
Offensive rebounds are a product of just good ball movement and taking good shots. They're not going in, but they're getting good looks. Short rebounds, and the defensive rebounding positioning breaks down.
Midner looking for Trish. Danny has it, wants to go. He does, and he'll get half-court play.
Danny Trist is an absolute key for this basketball team, Gary. Look at his presence in the low post, and he shows great patience. He looks over his left shoulder. Now watch, just a simple spin move, and it's not bad defense. Good help side by the Colonials, but Danny Trist is very athletic at 6'9".
Everybody is expecting an early season plethora of foul shots. The rules have changed a little bit in terms of what the defensive player can do. He's allowed kind of one touch with the hand. The second one will get him a foul. Any two-hand touch will get him a foul. And any elbow in the back of a man in the paint will get a foul call. 80-some foul shots in the game by Robert Morris on Saturday night.
It's going to take a little while for the players to adjust. Once they do, I think it'll be good for the game, Gary, but in the meantime, it's going to be an adjustment period.
We have our first lead change. We have our first Lafayette lead in the ball game. They're up 4-2. Trying to make it 5-4, but unable to do that was Lucky Jones, and another good rebound for the Leopards.
In the early going, it's been a terrific showing by Lafayette on the glass.
From the corner, Bryce Scott. Boy, we saw him do that all last year. Some of those were huge. He had 46 threes now in his career, 45 of them last season.
But it's all created by the dribble penetration of the freshman point guard, and that gives you an illustration of his basketball IQ. He split the two people at the top of the zone and found Bryce Scott in the corner.
That's going to be a walk.
The zone is bothering Robert Morris in the early going, Gary.
And Triss comes back in. Nathaniel Musker was in there. Nathaniel played very well on Friday night. Had 6 rebounds to tie for the high with Seth Hendricks, and gave him very good minutes when Danny Triss picked up 2 quick fouls. Also in there, Joey Tazinski, who is instant offense. He can knock down threes from everywhere. He was 3 for 5 at Villanova Friday night.
Now, we knew it wouldn't take long to see Joey in the game, but in the early going this season, got to believe, and there's a great defensive play.
Jones drops it off for a bucket by Aaron Tate.
Robert Morris's 2 baskets have come directly off Lafayette turnovers, Gary, so if they can cut down on the turnovers, I mean, it's something that Robert Morris lives off of. And I started to say a moment ago, we're going to get Dan Trist on.
No, they're going to get Mike McFadden.
Oh, that's good. That's a good call.
And that's the second on McFadden.
And that's huge.
McFadden had 12 points and 9 rebounds on Saturday night. He's going to have to sit for a while now. Boy, that takes a big man out of the middle. As we see Jeremiah Wortham come in, a 6'6" freshman from Philadelphia. Also in there, Charles Oliver, a 6'3" junior out of Scotch Plains, New Jersey. He had 12 points and 4 rebounds in their ball game on Saturday.
Yeah, they get a lot smaller in a hurry. It doesn't affect their quickness too much. Oh, that's just a... But, you know, it's a great idea by Danny Trist. And we're going to see it.
Johnny was outside the half moon, so he was good.
And that's what they look for, Gary. Great call, that little arc that they put underneath the basket. You see, again, Nathaniel Musters comes in, and, boy, the pace is so quick, I can't get this point in. But Nathaniel Musters, you'll see him come in defensively, and what Fran O'Hanlon is trying to do all 40 minutes of the game is protect Dan Trist, especially at the defensive end, from the foul trouble that he's been prone to.
Jack Rufer in the game, a 6'2" sophomore out of Bloomington, New York for Lafayette. He wears number 21. He had a 3-pointer for his only points against Villanova. Good ball handling, good drive, unable to finish. That was all Lucky Jones. He wasn't so lucky.
Now, quick turnover there. Lafayette tried to hit a home run, but good defensive transition that time by Myers-Pate.
Pull-up jump shot by Wortham. Did he call the bank?
Yeah, he didn't, because even he was surprised by it. They don't ask how, they ask how many, and that was 3.
Well, we've got our second tie now of the basketball game at 7-7. Seth's been quiet. He doesn't usually stay quiet. Oh, that's a foul. This will be called on Stephen Hawkins, and we will get our first television timeout of the season. Right now, we are knotted up at 7-7. Stay with us.
At Farmers, we make you smarter about insurance because what you don't know can hurt you. What if you didn't know that it's smart to replace washing machine hoses every 5 years? And what if you didn't know that teen drivers are 4 times more likely to get into an accident? So, the more you know, the better you can plan for what's ahead. Talk to Farmers and get smarter about your insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Have courage and confidence. Take risks using your intellect, your energy, and your humanity. Create your own destiny. Have impact.
We get a look at the Patriot League standings presented by Coordinated Health, the team that cares for the Lafayette Leopards. The other Patriot League team playing tonight is Lehigh. They are playing at home against Ryder. And John, I guess the real news is looking at Loyola, Maryland. RMU up there, both of them currently undefeated, and they both will be formidable, although Boston University has picked to win the Patriot League.
They are. Boston U has an impressive win over Northeastern. What's interesting about that is as much success as Loyola has had the last couple of years, that 2-0 start for them is the first one in a number of years. So Tubby Smith's son is the head coach down there, and they haven't missed a beat. They're coming off a terrific season.
Dan Mowdy usually peeks his head into the huddles. Let's hear what was being said.
All right, thanks, Gary. Movement of the ball on offense. That was the subject of the timeout huddle on the Lafayette bench. Fran O'Hanlon wants to see that ball swing left and right and all over in that offensive half of the court. Henricks at the line now, dropping the first. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Lafayette wasn't real good from the foul line on Friday night. 8 for 15. 53% is not the norm for them. But they have now dropped their first 4 in this ball game, and they get the lead back to 2. They've led by as many as 5.
Yeah, the big adjustment for me is adjusting to the screen not being there. That big old white curtain has been there forever, and it used to bother other teams.
It might be problematic for their shooting so far.
Right. Lafayette now goes to a 1-3-1. They change the front, so they're changing looks on Robert Morris.
There's a shot out of the corner. That is a triple for Charles Oliver. That's his 3rd triple of the year. He's now 3 for 5 from downtown.
And again, you talked about it, Gary. This is a team that resembles Lafayette, and well, that's a good call. You know, let me take that back. We'll take it. It's a foul against Robert Morris. I don't think it's a good call. I think you award the ball to Lafayette in that situation. 2 kids going for the ball, no advantage gained. It's one of those things. That's just a pet peeve of mine.
Well, certainly did push Joey out of bounds, and you know, I'm sure it wasn't on purpose, but it's a foul.
Yeah. Now, if Robert Morris comes up with that ball, you've got to call a foul.
That shot will not drop for Rufer. Lafayette with another second opportunity. Joey can't get it to fall.
Very quickly into the front court is Robert Morris. They want to run good transition defense by the Leopards.
Into the paint, double fake, up and in by Oliver. He has 5.
Joey Tazinski was leaking out. Nick Lidner thought better of it.
And the largest lead by the Colonials. We're going to get a foul here. That's going to be a grab by Oliver. And that's his second personal foul.
Now, Seth Hendricks, Gary, is never going to win any foot races, but he is such an effective shooter. You got to close out on him high and hard, or he's just going to nail jump shots. That makes him a lot quicker than his physical abilities might suggest.
Roofer drops it off to Musters. Musters in the paint. Or check it, doing Trish. What am I saying?
Well, I'd love to have seen Nate Musters make that play, and eventually he will.
They're both from Australia, but
well, you got to keep track of them because they
can't tell one from the other.
That's right.
Leopards down by 1. Hawkins back outside. Shot put up by Apollon. That's David Apollon, who drops his first triple of the year.
Now, against a team like Robert Morris, you kind of have to pick your poison. We talked about the danger in matching up one-on-one because they beat you off the dribble so effectively, but the zone leaves open some three-pointers.
Zach Roofer will knock down a 3.
Zach's got some experience from last year.
That's his second of the season. We expected a barrage of threes. These two teams last year together, John, took 563.
It's amazing, really, but it really is a product of the system that both of these coaches run.
Pull-up jump shot, Hawkins. That doesn't go. Good rebound to Zinski. Wow, Joey got good position.
Yeah.
Quickly up the Roofer. Seth Hendricks, no. Easy rebound for Trist. Joey Tazinski, no. Back of iron. Lafayette shooting off just a little bit.
Yeah, but Gary, they're doing a terrific job on the board right now. If they can do that, they're going to be in this game the whole way.
They're 4 for 13 so far from the field.
Line change now for Robert Morris. There's 4 players at the scorer's table. That's another page out of Fran O'Hanlon's book. They're man-to-man now, I think, Gary.
Yes, they are. And that won't work. And there's Kaczynski to go and get it. Roofer looking up the floor. Back to Lindner. Lindner for 3. And that won't go. Battle for the rebound belongs to Hawkins.
Hawkins represents their other size at about 6'8", 6'9".
That's a tough shot. That doesn't go. Hawkins easy.
Well, it's all created by the dribble penetration. That was just a great dribble drive that time by, I think it was Oliver 12 who got to the rim. And then Hawkins just cleaned it up.
Tough pace. Nice. Trist inside.
Danny Trist is looking 100% better. He made a huge leap, Gary, from his freshman year to his sophomore year. And in the early going here, it looks like he's made another jump from his sophomore to his junior year.
He will always be a good offensive and defensive player. He just has to stop fouling.
Yeah.
He can't spend time sitting next to Fran O'Hanlon.
Too important to this team. You make a great point. His strength is his weakness. He's physical, he's athletic, and he's aggressive. That spells foul trouble sometimes.
And you have to be smart, aggressive. Good rebound by Trist. Kaczynski, Trist, and Zach Roofer. And he's going to pull up again. And
feeling it. He's feeling it, isn't he? Oh, wow.
He only had 7 against Villanova. He has 10 already tonight.
And with that play, Andy Toole's going to go right back to Mike McFadden. And that's rolling the dice just a little bit. McFadden's going to have to be smart. He returns with 2 fouls.
Lafayette back in his zone. 1-2-2, bit of a match. Way outside. That one is short. And it's Trist again. Only Hawkins gets it and takes no chances. High percentage.
That's about as high percentage as you get. The ball bounced loose. And Robert Morris made Lafayette pay.
And we're going to get a blocking foul. Going to the foul line to shoot 2 will be Joey Tazinski. He won't do it, though, until we come back. Good ball game. Robert Morris by 1. Joey Tazinski can change that when we get back.
If you live for the outdoors, you're going to love CBK Mountain Adventures. The Pocono Mountain's newest attraction is a thrill seeker's paradise for the whole family. Swing in the trees on treetop adventure courses for every skill level, plus the 1,000-foot zip line where you are 8 stories high. Euro bungee, disc golf, a climbing wall, and mountain segway tours, all at the base of Camelback Mountain Resort. Spend the day or the weekend. CBK Mountain Adventures is just a short drive away at Camel Beach Mountain Water Park in Tannersville, PA. Visit cbkmountainadventures.com.
How am I using my engineering degree from Lafayette? You'd be amazed. As a civilian working for the Navy, I'm using laser technology to revolutionize underwater communication. Track movement of an oil spill below the surface, detect tumors through non-invasive medical procedures. I'm not just an engineer, I'm an explorer, a leader, and a Jedi Knight. I'm Brandon Kokenauer, and this is my job. And I got my start doing research with professors at Lafayette College.
You are invited to shop the Lafayette Team Shop. Lafayette fans can order official Leopard gear online easily through the Lafayette College store. Make sure you're ready to cheer on the Leopards and be sure to check as new items are added regularly. Tonight's pregame is brought to you by Coca-Cola. We always invite you to experience the Coke side of life. And our starting lineups, as always, prepared by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. That's Papa John's. We get a look at Andrew. He's just 32 years old. So he has been a high achiever. As Dan mentioned, a graduate of Penn, played for Fran Dunphy, and of course for Fran O'Hanlon, he was an assistant coach. Here's Dan Mowdy.
All right, thanks a lot, Gary. I'll tell you what, Nick Linder, second start, freshman, point guard, that's a lot of pressure. The kid also has some coaching talent as well. He's kind of encouraging the big guys. We got to get in there, we got to rebound. Fran O'Hanlon chipping in with they've got to reverse the basketball more. Still, the offensive end is the concern, and ball movement is the downfall so far in the eyes of Fran O'Hanlon of Lafayette. Back to you guys.
Well, it does look to me, John, and I'm sure you'll have your opinion, that Lafayette certainly is stronger in the paint than Robert Morris.
Yeah, there's no question. Now, again, that's absent Mike McFadden, who now returns. McFadden is their key guy in the paint, but he's in foul trouble, and what appears to be a disadvantage, Gary, for Lafayette could suddenly turn into an advantage because Dan Trist is playing very, very well.
We are tied for the third time in the ball game at 19.
And don't forget, Seth Hendricks is 6'7". We look at him as a long-range shooter, but he's a long, tall defender as well.
Co-captain Jack Detmer in the ball game, 6'2" senior, Scarsdale, New York. And I did say senior, as he is the only senior on the Lafayette roster.
And one of the big question marks for the Leopards coming into the season was how do you replace a player that made the kind of impact that Tony Johnson did last year.
And Levi Geese.
And Levi, Levi was under the radar so much, but he was 6'9", long arms, led the team in block shots. But Lafayette has adjusted well.
That shot will not fall. Taken by Myers-Pate. Inside, tough angle, no. Shaken loose by Nate Musker. So Nathaniel with a good job. Didn't get the rebound, but he made sure that Robert Morris didn't get it either.
That's exactly right. You got to compete inside. You're not always going to get the rebound, but you might give a teammate another jump at it.
Alan Flanagan back in, Lafayette starter. Scott, nice back cut. Detmer back to Scott.
It's great quickness defensively because that's good ball movement by the Leopards.
10 on the shot clock. Good crossover dribble. Oh my, what a nice play by Bryce Scott.
I told Fran O'Hanlon last year that I thought Bryce Scott potentially was the best finisher on this team. Keep an eye on that all year long. When he takes the ball to the rim, he's either going to get fouled, convert, and sometimes both.
I thought you were going to say that you told Fran O'Hanlon you would show him that move.
A long time ago, maybe.
Way outside, Lucky Jones. He'll drop that triple.
One of the two returning starters. You talked about him at the Open, 6'6". He's as good a defender, too, Gary, as he is a shooter.
Colonials by one. Flanagan. Scott. Rice working around a couple of screens. He wants to go one-on-one. Doesn't drop. Good rebound by McFadden.
It's an illustration of Bryce Scott creating his own shot. Get a bad look at it, but couldn't get it to go down.
McFadden kicks it out. And kicks out of the rim. That shot taken by Myers-Pate.
Once again, Nathaniel Muster's giving Fran O'Hanlon good minutes.
Lafayette basketball, 7 minutes 34 on the clock. We're going to get a timeout down on the floor. The biggest lead was 5 by Lafayette. Right now it's 1 by Robert Morris. Stay with us.
Our primary fundamental belief is that better ingredients, better pizza is quality, and that's what Papa John's is all about. Nobody does what Papa John's does.
Right now, get any large pizza with your choice of toppings, even our signature specialties, only $11. That's right. Order now at papajohns.com and get any large pizza with any toppings, just $11, only at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
More coverage of the Leopards, go to GoLeopards.com. All access. They provide even more in-depth coverage of Lafayette, from exclusive live game coverage to classroom experiences, pre-game, post-game, and everything in between. GoLeopards.com. All access. That's all you need to know about the Leopards. Subscribe today. And I'm looking over my roster. Game 1, Les Smith is another senior on that roster. Les didn't get in on Friday night. He's got to look at a young fan.
Yeah, that little one. That's my neighbor. It's either Lizzie or Lucy. It's one of them.
Did she accidentally grab your leg on the way over?
She was terrific. She's the one part of a twin, and they're just the cutest little things going, man. Not that I'd want to go back there and do that again.
One part of a twin.
One half of a twin. One half, I guess. Well, whatever. Lizzie and Lucy.
I think if you would have said she's a twin, we would have figured the rest out.
She's a twin. Yeah, well, you know what? You've been helping me for how many years now, Gary?
I've been able to rest through football, but it looks like it's going to be another year of hard work.
Here we go again. You'll be begging. Mike Joseph, do you know anything about basketball?
Mike's here tonight. He'll be with us. So will John on Saturday when Lafayette takes on undefeated Fordham. Danny Trist, Danny Trist feeling it tonight. He's got a dozen. And another lead change number 5.
Took that shot in black and white. That's an old grainy film, kind of old school hook shot.
Both teams now shooting 40% from the field.
Fran O'Hanlon thought he was playing with Howard Porter on that play.
Oh, that's a nice drive. Yeah. Lucky Jones with the baseline.
Both of these coaches used their bench so wisely. Mike McFadden came in when Robert Morris was hitting a little bit of a lull, and now he's right back out there, didn't get his 3rd foul.
Whoa, that one dropped. Joey Tazinski. He can get hot as he hits from downtown. 1 for 2 tonight. He's 4 for 6. Or 4 for 7 on the season.
Understated pass by Dan Trist from the high post area. He stepped out. It wasn't even the high post. It was beyond the 3-point line, but he found Joey Tazinski in the corner.
John, isn't he the perfect guy off the bench?
Oh,
I mean, instant offense, plays good D.
All good teams. And I know this. I remember in the late 80s and early 90s when we made our first substitution back in the day. We always got stronger. Craig White was one who came off the bench. Scott Lewis from Pittsburgh would come off the bench. He was the 6th man when we beat Notre Dame. Fran O'Hanlon has the same kind of philosophy. Joey Tazinski is easily a starter, but in Fran's mind, he's got 6 starters, and when he puts Joey in, the team gets a lift.
Leopards by 2. Quick pull up, that's a deuce, won't go. Battle for the rebound, Lafayette basketball.
And again, they're doing a great job, Gary, of blocking out on the inside and limiting Robert Morris, for the most part, to 1 shot.
Lindner dribbles towards Musters. Back cut, Bryce Scott. Pass was not fast enough. Fran will talk to Nathaniel about that. Bounce pass would have been better.
Bounce pass would have been better, Gary, and you're right. That's just a sophomore who didn't get a lot of playing time last year, being a half second behind. Now, right now, he's got the play. But you saw him lose his angle with a quick dribble to the sideline. But really, as soon as Bryce Scott made that cut, Nathaniel Mustard just didn't have his finger on the trigger.
Hinrichs and Trist back in. Trist baseline, drops it off. Pull up, fall away, bingo. Dropped by Bryce Scott. He has 7.
He's just a scorer. It helps that he's left-handed. I don't want to say crafty because every left-hander is crafty, but he just knows how to put the ball in the basket.
Nice drive. Coming across the baseline. Fran won't like that one defensively. 28-26. Lindner baseline. Bryce Scott. No, a little long.
Good look, great ball movement. Fran's not going to be unhappy with that shot selection nor the way they came about it.
So we're going to get one of those new fouls. A little bit of a rub on Lindner, and he'll get called for the foul with it. Anytime you touch with 2 hands, John, the whistle's supposed to blow.
And I really think it's good for the game, Gary. I think the pendulum swings away from movement and more toward the physical nature of the game, and that's a bump. That creates a clear advantage for the defense, so you've got to blow that whistle.
Sophomore Ben Freeland for Lafayette from Santa Rosa, California, number 34. Comes into the ballgame. He did not play on Friday night.
Well, the beauty of the game is in the movement. It really is. And you've got to be physical. You've got to be strong. But, boy, anything that encourages the choreography of the game, I'm all for. This is a great game to watch when it's played right.
Crossover dribble. Much too hard, but sitting right there to tap it back up and in. Apollon.
Yeah, and that's what Lafayette's got to defend against, the dribble penetration.
Zach Rufer. Good rotation, a little long, back of iron. And coming up with a rebound was Mike McFadden. Down inside, McFadden runs the court very nicely, gets his first bucket.
Well, you're exactly right, Gary. He not only did he rebound the ball defensively at one end, he finished the play at the other. And Lafayette did not get back defensively very well.
Fran O'Hanlon will use his use it or lose it timeout. And let's take a look at the play here by Mike McFadden.
Yeah, watch number 1. And good, he's on the floor. No, he gets the rebound, outlets it. Now watch how quickly number 1 comes back into your screen. And that's just a freshman mistake by, I think it was Billy. No, it wasn't Billy Murphy. It was Ben Freeland, number 34, who did not get back fast enough.
Our next LSN basketball broadcast will be November 26th when Yale comes to the Kirby Sports Center to take on the men. That is a 7 o'clock start. We'll get a look at the women for the first time on December 8th. That is a Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock when they take on Stony Brook. The women with wins over Ryder and Brown, they are 2-0. As next up for them is Columbia, and that ball game will be played this weekend.
Friday night, 8 o'clock right here. And Gary, they're learning how to win. Both of those wins coming in the last second. Emily Homan, congrats to her. She gets the Patriot League Player of the Week award.
2 21-point efforts.
And it wasn't so, it was obviously 21's a great number, but she rebounded, played great defense, and Gary, she factored in both wins down the stretch in the last minute.
Lafayette down by 2. We have seen 7 lead changes and 4 ties. Lindner inside, up and in.
You gotta like that. How about the freshman into the teeth of that defense? And hey, you know what? Robert Morris is one of the best defensive teams clearly in the Northeast Conference, maybe in the East.
Bobbled by McFadden. He'll get it back. Pull up, try to hit a deuce, cannot. And ending up without the rebound.
Made it interesting though, didn't he? Look at the hustle. That's great hustle by Robert Morris.
Way outside, that one won't go. Lindner Banks can't get the rebound. Down inside, up, and no. Trist battling, can't get the rebound. Down inside is Deswan Newton. Newton puts it up and in.
That was about 30 seconds of Deswan Newton. He just took this game over in those last 30 seconds. Can't even begin to tell you what kind of run that was for him. Wow.
Lead back to 2. Can Lafayette take the lead? Yep. They do it with a Seth Hendricks triple. His first field goal of the game, his 5th 3 of the year.
And that's probably the biggest news of the night, that we're 18, 17 minutes into this basketball game, and that's his first deuce. But Seth Hendricks is just another one of those scorers, Gary, and he can light it up at any moment.
He led Lafayette against Villanova with 15 points. From the outside, Charles Oliver drops it for 3. That's his 2nd triple of the game.
2 for T and T for 2. It's 3 for 2 and 2. Yeah, I don't know, something like it. Just
well, they're 5 for 10.
That'll work. Both of these teams mirroring one another.
Baseline, Tazinski, put it up, and it won't go. Chris is going to battle enough to have that ball go out of bounds. We get a horn down on the floor. 2:20 to go in the first half. 35-33, Colonials. Stay with us.
Patriot League, today's scholar athlete, tomorrow's leader.
At Farmers, we make you smarter about insurance, because what you don't know can hurt you. What if you didn't know that it's smart to replace washing machine hoses every 5 years? And what if you didn't know that teen drivers are 4 times more likely to get into an accident? So, the more you know, the better you can plan for what's ahead. Talk to Farmers and get smarter about your insurance.
We are Farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
That's what's coming up in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. The Farmers Insurance halftime report. Dan Mowdy will be talking to Maddie Fayen, who is one of the stars on that women's basketball team. Bad ankle, yet to play for Lafayette, but she's involved in some media work, and Dan will talk to her about that. And John, watch out. She may want to become a women's basketball color analyst.
Well, if they're going by good looks, she's got a long way to go.
I agree. Yeah, you certainly are out front in that department.
Oh, please. Boy, that's they're 2-0 without Maddie Fayen, and I just love her game. She's so long and athletic. They're only going to get better when she gets back.
Bryce Scott, he's been hot, doesn't go. Trist, he'll get fouled. Danny Trist has been a stalwart on the boards. This foul will be on Anthony Myers-Pate, his first.
Absolutely. I'll tell you the other thing. Danny Trist is playing such a terrific floor game. You know, Gary, the growth of this young man from his freshman year to now, I think it shows itself more in the way these guys pass the basketball. We know they've got individual athletic ability and skills to score the ball, but Dan Trist really sees the floor and finds the open person very effectively.
And you see how good those numbers have been. And now 3 for 3 from the foul line, 13 points. He was kind of quiet on Friday night. Again, he got in early foul trouble. Had 7 points and just 1 rebound. Much more aggressive tonight. But again, watching that ball, there were so many balls that came back over the head of the bigs because of the plethora of outside shots.
Yeah, a lot of long shots. Villanova was not making them, but Lafayette's defense really gave them trouble. A lot of those shots were stationary shots. You would think that's usually a good thing. Not all the time. There really wasn't any rhythm, and Lafayette did a good job defensively of taking away that rhythm.
We're knotted up again at 35, tie number 6. Pull up from the elbow? No. How about a triple?
That's with it.
Wider elbow.
Yeah, well, that's Gary, you make a good point, whether you knew it or not. Well, that's what the game's become. Years ago, you take that 17-footer wide open, you pass that up for a 22-footer because it gives you an extra point.
Turnover by Lafayette. That's their 7th.
Dribble, drive, and kick. Teardrop. Wow.
Nice.
Anthony Myers-Pate, number 5, is the point guard. Not called upon to score a whole lot, but if you don't pay attention, he can hurt you.
That's the largest lead of the game by Robert Morris. Bryce Scott knifes inside, tried to get a foul, gets the ball back and gets the foul. So hard work will get you a positive result.
He just has a way, Gary, in traffic, whether it's in transition or in the half court, getting to the rim. Now he gets the ball up there, and then he's got great anticipation. He knows it's going to hit the bottom of the rim. He's the first one to it, and he gets himself to the foul line.
Bryce has 7. He has not been to the line tonight, and he did not get to the line against Villanova. So his first foul shot of the year. Pretty much a pure shooter. He had 44 threes last year and averaged 8.2 points a game. Boy, he hit some big shots at the end of some ball games last year. It drops.
Shooter's roll, little backspin, drops dead. Lafayette now, with a made free throw, can set up its full court press.
9 for 10 from the free throw line.
It's the same call. They're calling C. It's a C play. Little screen on the baseline.
It's gonna, that looked like it was off of Jeremiah Wortham. That did not look like a good call.
Yeah, Fran is appealing to the referee in front of him, but he's just too far away. I thought the guy standing in front of us might have a better look. Let's take a look at it. Oh boy, I think it did too. I think it hit Wortham twice.
There's a possibility that it went off at Trist, but it sure looked like it was Wortham. In the paint, kick it out. Put it up and not knock it down. And who's going to get there first? Looks like Lindner. Now they're going to call a foul. And that'll be a 1-and-1. Lafayette will go to the line. Good hustle by the new point guard, Nick Lindner.
Going to call it on 22, I think. Lucky Jones going for the ball on the floor. Good call. There's Jones. Oh, yeah, he kind of tackles Nick Lindner on the floor. So Nick will have a chance to cut this lead to 1.
You see Alan Flanagan coming back in. Seth Hendricks will get a rest. And Dan Trist will get a rest. Fran making sure he doesn't pick up a second foul before they head to the locker room.
Gary, you know, when a basketball team comes down the floor in a half-court situation, you'll see them give a signal. Sometimes they'll tug on their jersey. Sometimes they'll tap their head. Sometimes they'll give a C, like with their fingers, form a C. And I've seen Lafayette do that any number of times over the years. That time I thought I was looking into a Lafayette half-court offense, as Robert Morris did the same thing. Another illustration of the coaching tree that these two coaches come from.
Nick Lindner now is a perfect 5 for 5 as a Lafayette College basketball player.
And he's not about to let you jinx it.
That's what I like to see. Lafayette 11 for 12 from the foul line. And they have crawled back to within 1. Final 30 seconds. Shot clock is off. I would think the Colonials would play for one final shot here. Down the paint. Kick it out. Ooh.
What a walk.
That looked like a walk. That will not drop. And on the move. They got to put it up now. And that's where we will stay. Both teams missing a final possession shot. And we've got a 1-point ball game. The Colonials on top of the Leopards by a 40-39 score. Coming up, the Farmers Insurance halftime report. Stay with us.
RCN's state-of-the-art hosted voice means more of everything. It's a smarter, more reliable communication solution that can be scaled to your specific business needs. Integrate multiple locations with little upfront investment and lower monthly costs. Our cloud-based system lets you control how you communicate, so you can focus on your business, not your phones. Technology, partnership, choice. RCN, working to redefine your business. Call now for a free consultation.
The continued success of the Lafayette football program is made possible through the generous support of the Maroon Club's Friends of Lafayette Football. This network of alumni, parents, and friends of football has enjoyed record-breaking growth, and you can get in on the excitement.
I'm head coach Frank Pavani. I invite you to join the Friends of Lafayette Football and help me continue building upon our success.
Hi, I'm Dan Valdez.
And I'm Kelsey Gula. We're partnering with PBS 39 to bring you Lafayette Lens, a look at issues affecting your world by Lafayette college students.
We'll look at the millennial generation. Are we considered lazy and entitled?
As a millennial myself, I sure hope not, but we'll ask the experts.
Plus, think a printer is just for paper? Think again.
From machinery to hearing aids, it can all be made by a 3D printer right here in our area.
Join us for Lafayette Lens Friday, November 22nd at 7:30 on PBS 39.
Well, in this ball game, we have had 10 lead changes, and we have had 6 ties, and that means it's a good basketball game. It's exactly what it is. At the half, 40-39 in favor of the Colonials. But right now, Dan Mowdy is standing by as he's got Maddie Fayen, who is on the women's basketball team, but obviously on Lafayette's campus, you do a lot of other things. Here's Dan.
Gary, that's for sure. The opportunities here are outstanding, and the way the town and gown goes together is just phenomenal. There's a public broadcasting station here in the Lehigh Valley, Channel 39, a PBS station, and it will be where to find some policy studies students as they put together a 30-minute feature show. A lot of them are economics students, some are policy studies majors as well. The broadcast is called Lafayette Lens, and it'll be on PBS 39 on November 22nd, the 24th, and the 25th. It's a major undertaking, but I have a feeling that these Lafayette students are up to the task. Every aspect of the show will be student run, from the editing, the directing, the producing, script writing, music selection, every aspect handled by Lafayette students, which is pretty exciting. One of those students, as you mentioned, Gary, is Maddie Fayen. Not only does she play great basketball here as a senior Leopard, but she's also an economics major who's doing very well there as well. Maddie, welcome to the Patriot League Network.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about this project. It sounds very interesting. Your segment is kind of focusing on the millennial generation. What's your take on some of the characteristics of this generation?
After doing a lot of research with our class and myself, I think the main thing that characterizes our generation is technology. And I'd have to say that a lot of people, it can be generalized that this could be our downfall because we don't have a lot of face-to-face communication anymore. But I think being a millennial myself, I'd have to say it's one of the biggest advantages as well, because we've been able to do so many things through the internet and through our uses of technology that people have never been able to do before. So.
Excellent. Part of this program will be a one-on-one interview with President Byerly here at Lafayette College. You're heavily involved with that. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so myself and 2 other students in the class have taken on the interview with President Byerly, and we met with her last week as kind of a pre-interview and got to talk to her. And she's going to have some really interesting stuff to say. I think she's really involved with classroom technology and social media. She has her own Twitter that all of the Lafayette students can follow. So I think she's going to add a lot to this program.
What's it like forming the production team of Lafayette students to take on a broadcast challenge like this one?
Yeah, it's been really cool to see the whole process. I got to go to the PBS station a couple weeks ago and see the studios and really understand how it's all going to work, and it's been a really neat experience.
How has the experience benefited you as an economics major?
I think it's been really useful to kind of take the skills we learn in the classroom and put that into real life situations. So yeah, just forming those networks, interacting with different people, and really being able to do something outside of the classroom is a rare opportunity, and it's been a really good one. Yeah.
If there's one thing you'd like people to know out there to get them interested in watching this broadcast, what would that be?
I think just the 2 subjects that we're focusing on, which is the millennial generation, and 3D printing is actually the other segment that's going along with ours. I think it's relevant and interesting, to anyone of any age that's going to be watching it. So I'd really encourage everyone to tune in. I think it's going to be really a good one.
And if you do tune in, I have an understanding that you'll find out what a first global is.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Sounds terrific. Maddie Fayen, thanks for joining us here again. The telecast is on PBS Channel 39, WLVT here in Bethlehem. It reaches eastern Pennsylvania and western New Jersey. And the dates again, November 22nd, the 24th, and the 25th. We'll be looking for that interview, Maddie. Congratulations on what sounds like a pretty neat undertaking and a great success all in one.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's bring it back to Gary and John.
Can't wait to see Maddie on the court also. All right, this is the Farmers Insurance Halftime Report. See how much you can save. Visit FGIagency.com. When we come back, the first half highlights right around the corner. Stay with us.
Will I have a chance to see the highlight?
Our primary fundamental belief is that better ingredients, better pizza is quality, and that's what Papa John's is all about. Nobody does what Papa John's does.
Right now, get any large pizza with your choice of toppings, even our signature specialties, only $11. That's right. Order now at papajohns.com and get any large pizza with any toppings, just $11, only at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Welcome back. This is, of course, the Farmers Insurance Halftime Report. The numbers are coming up, brought to you by Crystal City Printing, handling Lafayette's printing needs. And, John, before we get to the highlights, we certainly want to talk a little bit about what I thought was a great defensive first half by Lafayette. They just didn't foul anybody. There were only 3 fouls by the Leopards in the whole half, and Robert Morris never got to the foul line.
Never got to the foul line, Gary, and it's a great point because that is a strength of this team. They're very quick, they're very athletic, and a focal point for Fran O'Hanlon coming in was to keep them on the perimeter. They have been burned every once in a while with some dribble penetration, but they haven't compounded the problem by fouling.
And I thought they played very good defense on Friday night against Villanova. That matchup zone forced Villanova to go to the outside shooting.
It really did. A lot of people said Villanova was settling for the shot, but again, it was a product of that matchup zone that kept Villanova out of their movement and kept them on the perimeter.
Gonna put you to work now. The halftime highlights brought to you by RCN. Life redefined. That's RCN. Here's John.
Well, you know, it was an exciting first half. This is one of the few turnovers. Lafayette only turned it over 7 times. There you see in transition Robert Morris doing a terrific job. That was Aaron Tate, number 24. This is number 22, and that is Lucky Jones. He's the one returning starter. Jones had 9 first half points. He really gave them an offensive lift. Did it all kinds of ways. There you see him driving to the basket. He was a load at 6'6". You see him score inside. You see him score outside. You knew they could do this. You knew they could shoot from downtown, and that was number 12, Charles Oliver, 8 first half points. Oliver doing a good job giving them an offensive lift as well, but they can spread it around a little bit. Number 4 is David Apollon. He knocks one down. The offensive story for Lafayette, Gary, in the first half was not only their scoring ability inside, Danny Trist doing most of the work, but their ability to compete on the backboards. Danny Trist, there's an old-fashioned hook shot, knocked it down. Dan Trist giving Fran O'Hanlon and Lafayette that inside presence. A plethora, how about that word? I knew you'd like that. Of inside moves. Then he steps outside. Not only can he score with his back to the basket, but he's certainly adept at stepping away. Here's the freshman, Nick Lindner, doing a terrific job orchestrating the offense. Look at Dan Trist. Reverse the ball, find Joey Tazinski in the corner. Again, great ball movement side to side if you're Fran O'Hanlon. How about Bryce Scott, the lefty from the left coast, doing a terrific job. And here is Zach Rufer chipping in with a 3 of his own. Very few players on this either team, Gary, that you can really relax on. They're all going to line up and shoot the 3.
We are too. We're going to line up and get ready to come back. Stay with us. It is time for the numbers, the Christmas City printing numbers, as we take a look at those first half stats. And John, when you look at the individuals, certainly the Colonials have spread it around. Almost every guy can shoot from the outside, but Lafayette getting good numbers on the inside.
Absolutely. It's a product, I think, too, of Andy Toole knowing this Lafayette offense, and you know that he's not going to let Seth Hinrichs, if he can help it, take the game over, and Seth can do that. So they're extending the defense. That's opening things up and isolating Dan Trist on the inside.
As you take a look at the team numbers, you see they're very even as far as the field goals are concerned. A couple of extra triples is kind of the difference, but boy, you don't put a team on the foul line, they don't get anything easy. And Lafayette has turned it over 7 times, and that's probably the 1-point difference.
Yeah, you know, Gary, you're right. And, 7 turnovers and a half, any coach would live with.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Morris has turned it over only twice. So I think both coaches have positives they can point to in the first half and some other things they might want to work on.
We positively will be back for second half action. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Michael Kelly.
My name is Shavia.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Kalra.
My name is Xiaosui.
My name is Ebenezer Solomon. I'm here in New York in the Wall Street District, where I intern at the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission.
I work here at the Museum of Natural History.
I'm in the Islanders rotational programs.
I'm at the New York Stock Exchange.
I'm having my summer internship with Credit Suisse in fixed income research.
Lafayette being close to New York helps in a lot of ways. I think one, it helps companies understand who we are. It also helps us get to New York City to interview and also to learn more about each company.
I can also come to the city to visit alumni and learn more about the industry, so that really played a huge role.
This is an amazing opportunity to gain hands-on experience in the industry I want to work in.
It's not the end of the first half until Dan Mouty speaks. Here's Dan.
Gary, thank you very much for that. I'll tell you what, both these teams spent an awful long time in the locker room talking strategy. The shoot-around not so important, apparently, here to start the second half, as it was to try to get back on the game plan pace for both of these teams. And it all comes down to defense. Andrew Toole, the head coach of the Colonials, said, when I asked, what did you talk about up there in the locker room, he said, 2 things, get a stop, get a rebound. And for Fran O'Hanlon, the emphasis also on defense. Now back to you guys.
All right, Dan, thank you very much for that report. So John and I both thought Lafayette played very well defensively in the first half. Fran, I guess not so much.
But coach has got to have something to complain about. You know what it comes down to, Gary? Two well-coached teams, 2 teams that know the opponent very, very well, and I think the statistics bear out what you can expect.
With the basketball is Carvel Anderson. Kind of a quiet half for him with just 5 points. He's the leading scorer back as they immediately get a bucket out of Aaron Tate, who was very quiet in the first half with just 1 field goal.
Yeah, that was a terrific feed by Carvel Anderson, a bounce pass to the low post. Very difficult angle to get it through that 1-3-1 zone.
17 feet away.
Boy, Dan Trist.
He hasn't hit the rim tonight, has he?
He is just in such a great rhythm offensively.
He has 16. So we match deuces.
And I think, again, not to take anything away from Danny, but I think they're challenging him to beat them because they know that Seth Hinrichs and Bryce Scott and Joey Tazinski can just blow up a game with their 3-point shooting. So you get the sense that Robert Morris is trying to take away Lafayette's strength.
You get a look at that last bucket. That was turnover number 3. John mentioned they only had 2 in the first half. They now have turned it over on the second possession of the second half. Leopards with a chance to take the lead. Scott drives. He'll get banged. That'll be foul number 3, John.
Yeah,
Mike McFadden.
Yeah, you're right, Gary. He was just a little late getting over there, and he might have been better served to just kind of let Bryce go on this point. At this point, he was late getting there, or maybe just go for the block and not take the charge.
Bryce will get a couple. Looking for double figures with this shot. And he'll get it. 3 for 3 from the line. He has 10.
Such a soft shooting stroke.
Tie number 7. We're looking at lead change number 10. We are. Make it 11. And Bryce with 11 points.
Andy Toole keeping Mike McFadden right in the game here with 3 fouls.
Well, Lafayette took advantage. They got their largest lead of the game when he sat down. There's one of those silly fouls.
Yeah, and you know what? Robert Morris was kind of, Andy Toole at least, was kind of yelling for that early on. They said that Dan was holding, and no argument from Dan Trist on that one. He's got to protect himself. They need him in the basketball game.
Fran buried his head in his hands. Pull-up jumper? No. Good defense by Scott. They're going to get a foul on Flanagan on the inside. That'll be Allen's first. Team second.
Robert Morris did a good job of not fouling Lafayette a great deal in the first half. 12 free throws for Lafayette in that first half.
Out of the corner, back of iron. Won't drop for Lucky Jones. Lindner trying to knock down a 3. Halfway down, won't go. And here's a Dan Trist foul. That's how quickly they can happen.
Yeah, number 3, and so Fran O'Hanlon is going to walk down the bench, and he's going to have to start playing a little offense-defense here. He's going to want to try.
Change my mind. This foul is going to be on Robert Morris.
Oh, that's a break. That's a huge break.
I believe they called that on Lucky Jones. Wow, I thought for sure they were going to call that one on Danny. They did not. There's a deuce for Seth Hendricks.
Such a difficult player to defend, Gary, because of his length. And the release on his jump shot at the highest point of that jump. There's the hand check.
On Lindner with the hand check, his second.
Lafayette shot 12 for 28 in the first half, Gary. Let's take a look at Seth Hendricks. You got to be very careful on this handoff because there are times when Dan Trist will simply fake that handoff and roll to the basket, but that time they went under the screen. You can't do that against Seth Hendricks.
Baseline. Up, no. Up, yes. That follow up by, I believe, Aaron Tate.
Yeah, 24, Aaron Tate. Only had 2 in the first half, but one of those big guys from Robert Morris that can get on the offensive glass.
Leopards up 1. Tristan, check it, Seth Hendricks. Beautiful move, knifing inside, and Seth has 9.
Knifing is right, Gary, because he avoided 2 Robert Morris defenders on his way to the goal and finished nicely.
Oh, Bryce Scott got knocked down, no call. Good hustle, Lindner up to Bryce. He'll work against Myers Tate. He'll win the battle.
Knows how to finish, doesn't he? Boy, you get him in the open court, and that's Lafayette's largest lead at 5, I believe.
Ties their largest lead. They had 5 earlier in the first half.
I was just testing you.
Well, they did it with McFadden on the bench. He's out there now. McFadden. And that's going to be a blocking foul and a bucket.
Boy, McFadden showed great control because, Gary, I thought he was setting himself up for an offensive foul here. Watch McFadden at 6'8". Save the dribble, and Alan Flanagan just couldn't get there in time.
Second on Allen, 4th against Lafayette. That's more team fouls than they had in the first half total.
Exactly right. Remember, Robert Morris did not go to the line in the first half, and no matter what Andy Toole said to Dan Mowdy, I'm sure he's thinking we've got to challenge Lafayette more and get them to commit some fouls.
McFadden, a transfer from Iona. He is one of the 2 starters back from last year's team. Lucky Jones the other. Foul shot missed. Rebound Hinrichs.
Good job by Joey Tazinski to keep that one alive.
Corner, Tazinski. Nice. Pass from Bryce Scott.
Bryce Scott drove the baseline, kept his eyes up, and found Joey Tazinski. That's Lafayette's strength.
And now, John, their largest lead of the game. Paint up and in by Lucky Jones. He has 11.
Strong move by Tate that time.
Hinrichs. That will be a Lafayette turnover on the walk. We're going to get a timeout. Down on the floor. Lafayette up by 4. They come out of the locker room, and they have played very well. Watch this pass. Bryce Scott. That's automatic. We'll be back.
Your favorite local news source is much more than a newspaper. The Express Times and LehighValleyLive.com are in your community. We are at your games. We are at your council meetings. We save you money when you shop. We inform, entertain, and advise you when you need information or a night on the town. We encourage you to interact with us. We are the Express Times and LehighValleyLive.com, and we are better than ever. To subscribe, call 1-800-360-3602 or visit us online at LehighValleyLive.com.
At Farmers, we make you smarter about insurance because what you don't know can hurt you. What if you didn't know that it's smart to replace washing machine hoses every 5 years? And what if you didn't know that teen drivers are 4 times more likely to get into an accident? So, the more you know, the better you can plan for what's ahead. Talk to Farmers and get smarter about your insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Let's go to our trivia question for tonight, presented by Vitamin Water. They remind everyone to hydrate responsibly with vitamin water. I never expect John to do a lot of research, but he kind of gave away the answer in our intro. Before Nick Lindner, who was the last freshman point guard to start for Fran O'Hanlon, we'll give you the answer in a bit. That is a future point guard.
Yes, it is. Ready to roll. You gotta love it. Oh yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's putting the heebie-jeebies on Robert Morris.
We get a look at young Andrew Toole already in his 4th year at Robert Morris. He's been very successful there. We mentioned a great season last year, 24-11, 14-4 in the Northeast Conference. They won the regular season, could not win the tournament, and therefore they ended up in the NIT.
Kind of underscores the strength of that conference. It's getting stronger and stronger. Lafayette will face 4 members of that conference.
They will indeed. They will play Wagner, Sacred Heart, St. Francis, and Brooklyn. St. Francis, Brooklyn from the Northeast Conference. Turnover. Number 4. Joey Tazinski, step back. Wow.
Gary, you don't know how difficult a shot that is. That's not a catch and shoot. That's off a high screen and a step back from well beyond the 3-point line.
A lot of Leopard fans held their breath on Friday night. He took a bad spill. Oh, what a block inside by Alan Flanagan. And Zach Rufer will end up with a rebound. Johnny got hit in the head with an elbow and then hit the floor with his head. Left the arena. He came back and knocked down a 3.
Well, it hasn't affected his shooting touch, that's for sure. Joey Tazinski on a big-time roll. Remember, he didn't start the basketball game, Gary, but this is what he gives you off the bench.
Up by 9. The Lafayette Leopards on a bit of a run. Tazinski now with 12 points. He had 13 on Friday against Villanova. Drive, kick, and shoot it. Doesn't go. Rebound controlled by Apollon. Outside, that shot put up, that in and out. Inside, up and no. Inside, and we're going to get a held ball. Goes to Lafayette.
Lafayette right now is competing very, very well on the glass. They're a bigger team, Gary, flat out. and they're doing a good job getting position on the inside. And here comes two of their better offensive players.
Flanagan will leave. Musters will leave. Roofer will take over the point guard responsibilities. A lot of dribbling, that's not the norm. Now they're in the rhythm. Inside, Seth up, no, they'll get fouled. John, I think in the Villanova game, and I think both these opposing coaches, certainly well schooled in Lafayette offense, I think I only saw 2 back cuts so far this season. So everybody's looking for it.
Yeah, they are, but again, you rob Peter to pay Paul, and when you take away the back cut, you're going to give up some open looks from the perimeter, and this game probably the exception because both of these teams are so well, not are they just well scouted, they both played in this system. They absolutely know it. They practice it. They see it every day. So it's all the more difficult to run your stuff.
We were bewildered by Lafayette's 53% shooting from the foul line on Friday. They've corrected that. They're 13 for 14.
That was obviously an aberration, and boy, they are just deadly from the line so far tonight.
Seth now with 11, Bryce Scott with 13, Dan Trist with 16, and Joey Tazinski with 12. 4 players in double figures. Way outside, that will drop. That's a big bucket. Apollon hits a 3 that they desperately needed.
That was off a dribble drive by McFadden at 6'8".
Lafayette had gotten the lead up to 11. Zach Roofer, no.
Long shot, long rebound. It's going to give Robert Moritz a chance to run.
Which they do. Wow. Apollon with the bucket on a floater.
Yeah, just that quickly. I mean, that's what the three-point shot does. Very quickly, a 3, then a 2, and all of a sudden, Robert Morris back to within 6.
Lindner up, and Dan Trist up.
There was a back cut along the baseline that didn't go, and then again, against a team that doesn't know Lafayette's offense, that might be a layup.
Roofer will get fouled. This will be on Deshaun Newton, his second.
Foul number 10 is first on the team's court. Team fouls are 4 on each side.
Both teams now with 4 team fouls. Kozinski, Scott, Trist, Hinrichs, and Lindner on the floor. And wide, a great passing, terrific defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a really nice play by Lucky Jones.
That was great. Gary, you're right, because you can't draw the play up any better than that. You can't execute it offensively any better than that. It was just terrific defense.
Shaken up on the play is Lucky Jones. Let's take a look at it.
I mean, this ball moves around the perimeter so quickly. This is the tail end of it. Great movement on the inside by Dan Trist. And yeah, Lucky Jones goes down, hit his head briefly.
I think he got poked in the eye.
Maybe that, yeah, that might have been it. Boy, he got up quickly because Dan Trist had great position and he just got to the ball so fast.
Well, now it's the Colonials on a little bit of a run. Lafayette had a lead by 11. That has been cut to 6. Soon we cut to 4. No. Wow, that was a peeper for Mike McFadden.
Yeah, not gonna, maybe he was surprised at how open he was.
Is that an excuse to miss a shot?
Well, we'll use it. I don't know.
I just think it's a bad shot.
It was a bad shot.
Why'd you miss it? I was too far open.
I was too open, Coach. He needs to guard me closer.
Here's a foul on Aaron Tate.
Foul 24, Aaron Tate is first.
Dribble drive, Nick Lindner. Boy, I'll tell you what, this is a good-looking freshman. His demeanor on the court really does belie his youth. I mean,
a lot of confidence, doesn't he?
Oh my gosh, playing high school basketball last year, albeit in a pretty good league.
Germantown Academy averaged 12.3 points, 7.2 assists. He had 7 assists in the first game at Villanova. Kaczynski, no. So Lafayette has gone a little cold. They've been sitting on 59 on 3 possessions. They will get a foul first on Lindner. It'll be a 2-shot foul.
Well,
that's Nick's third, and we're going to get a timeout. Down on the floor. 59-53. Joey T will be back. We always like to talk about Lawrence First and Goal Foundation. It's dedicated to the fight against pediatric brain tumors. Since its creation in 2004, Lawrence First and Goal has raised more than $1.5 million toward its mission to provide financial support for brain tumor research and cancer services, to offer financial and emotional support to families living with pediatric cancer, and to increase awareness of the disease. More information is available by visiting lawrencefirstandgoal.org. So the television timeout, maybe that'll settle the Colonials down a little bit, as Lafayette was at 59-48. And the Colonials have reeled off the last 5 and a chance here to make it 7.
Well, both of these teams are capable of closing out huge gaps. We talked about their three-point shooting proficiency. Now this is Anthony Myers-Pate. He's struggled from the foul line.
Yeah, 3 for 9 now.
Yeah.
Still looking for his first point. They're still looking for their first point from the line. They're 0 for 2, and that's something you've never seen before at Kirby. People standing behind that bucket. 2 hour left. Going to miss that one too. But they make it a 4-point or a 2-point play off the miss by McFadden.
Now, McFadden has been relatively quiet. He's capable of doing just that. So
too far under the basket. They're going to turn it over anyway, the other way.
Yeah, again, great defense on this end by the Colonials. They thwarted a good play, but give Lafayette credit, Gary. They never gave up on the turnover, and they created one of their own at the other end.
Uppers have to get off 59. Henriques? Yes.
You know,
they go to 61.
Gary, just great body control. I mean, he's 6'7", and he had everything he could do to avoid that charge.
Fadden. Good defense by Bryce Scott. Pull-up jump shot. Carvel Anderson. Oh, that. Well, I guess you could have called a foul. No need to do it.
Yeah, if Robert Moritz comes down with that ball, you've got to call that foul. And that would have been number 4 on McFadden.
Lafayette shooting 50% from the floor, and they are 32% from the three-point line. Robert Morris now at 44% from the floor, and they're at 39% from beyond the arc.
They can all shoot the ball, and it makes them so difficult to defend, and I'm talking about Lafayette. As good as Robert Morris is, I don't think they have the all-around shooters that Lafayette does, case in point.
John showing a little ESP. He knew that was coming. Bryce Scott. Scott now with 16 points. That's a nice Dan Trist rebound. Bryce now one shy of his career high. Kaczynski no.
Whoa, we have a little...
That's a foul, isn't it, if you foul the official?
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to call it on him. The official fell right over.
Yeah, Michael Berry went down as he got hit by a Colonial.
Lucky Jones went down. They went down in a heap, but did not affect the play. Here comes Lafayette.
Up by 9. Danny Trist, I don't think, thought that pass was intended for him. He believed somebody was behind him. They weren't. Muster's in. Flanagan in. Roofer in. Jack Detmer in. Lafayette will give some guys a little defensive rest.
Our new stat monitor, Gary, does not allow us to see exactly what Robert Morris is shooting from downtown, but
yeah, 37%.
Well, that's not bad.
7 for 19. But John, they had 6 in the first half.
Yeah, they have cooled off decidedly, and credit Lafayette's defense. They're just not getting any open looks.
Nathaniel Musters will pick up this foul. A lot of volleyball going on, and then the foul on Musters. At the line, Jeremiah Wortham looking for the first foul shot point of the game. They are 0 for 3. So, John, they go 20 minutes and 36 seconds.
Tough to win a basketball game when you don't get to the foul line at all.
My math's terrible, too. They go 30 minutes and 36 seconds. Wortham gets to the line and drops them both. Leopards by 7. Back cut. Nice. Oh, nice.
Just a high back screen and a diagonal pass from Dan Trist. We talked about his passing earlier in the game, just a well-designed play.
Trist took more pleasure, I think, in that pass than he did in all the buckets he scored tonight. Hendricks can't quite hang on to it. Good defense by Flanagan. Good defense, Alan Flanagan.
Gary, you make a great point. There are 2 plays in the game that draw the biggest reaction from the crowd. Let's first take a look at the defense by Alan Flanagan. Great job to contest, goes out of bounds, but obviously the slam dunk. Everybody wants a ooh and ah. The other one is a great pass.
And that was both.
That was both.
Chris, 18 feet away. That one he doesn't get. Here come the Colonials. Way outside. That one is dropped by Desjuan Newton. That's a 3.
They do spread him around, and that one kind of got Robert Morris's bench up, and
they don't go away. They're back to within 6.
Again, you know, both of these teams, that's a characteristic of Lafayette. They don't go away.
Brzezinski thought about it. Chris, he'll get hacked.
Boy, you think Joey Brzezinski has their attention? How quickly did they close out on him?
Wortham with a foul.
I'm going to take a look at it right here. That's a good defensive closeout by David Apollon.
Well, Lafayette got a bucket off that last out-of-bounds play there. Trist for the follow-up.
That's all hustle. All Dan Trist. In traffic and quickness to the rim to finish.
He has 18 points. Pull-up jump shot. Newton, and he drops another 3. Back-to-back triples for Desjuan.
Dribble penetration, ball inside, the kick back out. They're going to get Alan Flanagan, I believe, on an offensive foul.
And that will lead to a timeout. As you get a look at co-captain Jack Detmer, but you also get a look at a beautiful back cut pass. Trist, Bucket Hendricks. We'll be back.
Have courage and confidence. Take risks using your intellect, your energy, and your humanity. Have impact. Create your own destiny.
Dude, you wanna watch a movie? How about that one with that boat and a shark or something? Totally. What was it called? I can't remember. Dude.
We have TiVo from RCN with Intelligent Search. It does the thinking for you. TV shows, movies, even YouTube. TiVo from RCN. Endless entertainment possibilities.
Dude.
Well, it's always good to start John off with a correct answer. Before Nick Lindner, who was the last freshman point guard to start for Fran O'Hanlon?
Timothy Big.
Tim Big, back in 1997, John.
Oh, my gosh.
It was that long ago.
God.
We did those games.
I don't want to think about Oh, my goodness, you're right. What fun it was.
I think this is our 16th year
17th. But who's counting? Stefan Chosic, Brian Ehlers, Ted Cole, Ross Harms.
Wow.
David Klaus.
Here's one of the super fans from Lafayette. Everybody enjoying these very comfortable seats here at the Kirby Sports Center. Although I bet they're rootsing a little bit. The Leopards up by just 6. And this team has started to really knock down that shot. Just like that. They've had 3 triples in a row. That's Lucky Jones. He now has 14 points.
Gary, these 3-point shots for either team, they're not accidents. They come off great ball movement.
Here we go. Oh, I thought Allen might put up one. Nice job, Nathaniel. Lindner for 3. That won't go. Lafayette rebound, Roofer.
Boy, they're making a lot of hustle plays as Lafayette, though. That's 3 extra looks at the basket. Let's see if they can make it pay.
One real outstanding shooter on the floor right now, and they get him the basketball. Bryce Scott, oh, he got hacked. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
That is a great possession by the Leopards because the ball did find its way to the best shooter, and Bryce Scott rewards them. You got to close out on him because he's such a good shooter, and there you see him pull back. You know, Gary,
give credit to everybody else for finding him. He was the one shooter they had on the floor.
Yeah, and that just is a product of being well-schooled in the game and making sure you know where the ball has to go.
Boy, Bryce has had a solid game. He now has tied his career high. And with this bucket, he would have 18.
Yeah, and it won't stop there. I mean, he's going to have a number of career highs because his role now, he came off the bench last year, but his role this year is going to be expanded. And he can score in so many different ways. He's a catch-and-shoot player. He can shoot a jump shot off the dribble. We already talked about his ability to take the ball to the rim and score driving to the basket. He's a slashing kind of player, so he's got all the tools.
Lafayette is shooting 94.4% from the foul line. 17 for 18.
So that demonstration down at Villanova is a distant memory.
I blame it on the basket. Another floater, and that will drop. Nice play by Carvel Anderson. He's not as noisy as he was on Saturday night. He only has 7 points.
Yeah, but you gotta be aware of him because he's such a streaky player, and you know, scorers like to get that 1 or 2 under them, and then they light it up.
6 minutes to go in regulation. No, Kaczynski had a look, doesn't drop.
A little stationary that time. Really wasn't a shot in rhythm necessarily. You can almost sense when Lafayette's going to knock one down, Gary.
Drives up and in.
Wow.
Nice move.
Yeah.
By Carvel Anderson. He's starting to warm it up. We are tied. We get a timeout. That's the 8th tie of the basketball game. The Leopards have a 5-game winning streak here at Kirby in jeopardy. Trying to make it 6.
You know, the record over the years here, Gary, has been phenomenal.
Let's go to Dan.
All right, thanks a lot, Gary. You warned me about the student section here behind this basket. Kelly Lockney, senior on Lafayette women's team, warned me as well. Kelly, welcome to the Patriot League Network. Tell me what it's like to see a game here. You played your first game here. Now you get to watch the guys play.
Yes, it's a lot different than last year. It feels so much fuller with all the fans surrounding the court and everything. And the big screen is awesome to see replays and stuff. So it's really fun.
We noticed that the video open is a big hit with the players. Everybody's eyes are up on the screen during introductions.
Yeah, it's really funny. We got to videotape it last week and we all got to do our own thing, so it was so fun.
Fantastic. Tell us a little bit about a great performance against Ryder, but now you've got Columbia coming in on Friday for another Patriot League Network contest.
Yeah, it should be a good game. We played them the last 2 years. We won last year. If we keep playing how we're playing right now, I think it should be a good win, but we'll see. They're a competitive team, so we'll see.
Kelly Lockney, a transfer senior, sticking around for a very big season this year as well. Now back to Gary and John. Thanks, Kel.
And Dan, you'll be happy to know, with that camera angle, even you look tall. We know Kelly is, but even Dan.
That's right, Dan.
All right, we are knotted up at 70 apiece with 5:33 to go in regulation.
You could almost sense it, Gary. Again, these two teams are mirror images of one another, and we've seen how many times Lafayette come back from 10 or 15 points down. The way these teams shoot the ball, especially from downtown, no lead is really safe.
Leopards led by as many as 11. Robert Morris led by as many as 5. 11 lead changes, 8 ties. Lafayette with a basketball.
I think this is Lafayette's clearly their best offensive team on the floor right now.
Kaczynski, they ran away from him.
Yeah,
what? They don't run away from him.
No, that's I would call that a mental lapse.
He is 15. Not matching it, but getting the rebound. Dropping the ball inside. That's Aaron Tate, no. Rebound by Myers-Pate. Turn around, and Tate will put it up and in.
Well, again, Myers-Pate did a good job of getting in traffic and finding Tate.
Lafayette by 1.
And what the guards will do, they'll switch, Gary. They'll switch on the handoffs on the perimeter. Now, the bigs don't have that luxury. When you have a cross, like right here, you can't switch a big and a small.
Good job by Dan Trist. Ball goes out of bounds, however. Danny did a nice job of fending off a Colonial so he could get to the basketball and keep it alive. But now the Colonials can take the lead.
And you can sense, Gary, at this end of the court, Robert Morris has kind of turned up the heat a little bit defensively. Let's see if Lafayette can exploit that with a couple of back cuts.
Becky Jones drops it off. Anderson's been hot. And he knocks another triple down. So he was much too quiet.
Yeah.
He's gotten very noisy.
I had a chance to watch their game against Savannah State, and boy, Gary, he was just on fire.
Colonials on top.
Now they're playing a sloughing man. They're going to press up on the ball, but everybody else has a foot in the paint.
They're now 11 for 25.
He
nice
can finish.
Play, Bryce Scott.
He can finish. Gets to the rim.
Tie number 10, 9. Make it 9. 75 all. Scott now with 20 points. Good steal, Lindner, 3-on-2. Kaczynski, oh, that's goaltending. Hey, maybe not. Instead, we'll make it a good block.
They got numbers. Joey Kaczynski is hurt coming back.
Aaron Tate with a good block, and Joey is hurt.
Let's hope he can run that off. He's holding his calf, and hopefully he just bumped it and he didn't pull it.
Now we'll get a whistle.
Doesn't look good. Joey Kaczynski is one of the toughest kids on this team, and you know he's going to try to run through it if he can. I don't know if this is a media timeout.
Timeout called down on the floor,
yeah.
I think by Lafayette. We'll call timeout, 3:06 on the clock. Stay with us.
Your favorite local news source is much more than a newspaper. The Express Times and LehighValleyLive.com are in your community. We are at your games. We are at your council meetings. We save you money when you shop. We inform, entertain, and advise you when you need information or a night on the town. We encourage you to interact with us. We are the Express Times and LehighValleyLive.com, and we are better than ever. To subscribe, call 1-800-360-3602 or visit us online at LehighValleyLive.com.
The Patriot League, today's scholar athlete, tomorrow's leaders.
Here's the Joey Tazinski injury. This is the bad news. The good news, John, is as we watch Joey on the bench, it appears as if that might just have been a cramp.
Yeah, because you see them, they're trying to stretch it out. They're getting some ice. I mean, a cramp will create some soreness, but the way they were moving that calf, Gary, you're right. It's the way they treat a cramp, and they're pretty painful, but they go away quickly. Now, can he return from it in time? Because there's only 3 minutes left, and he is a vital cog to this Lafayette offense.
And his shot is all about his legs.
Oh, yeah, you got that right. I mean, that step back from three was just a thing of beauty. So we'll take a look at number 21, Zach Rufer, who replaces Joey.
Bryce kicks it out. Can Zach knock down a three? No. Out of bounds, it'll be Lafayette basketball.
That's a big, big break for the Leopards, Gary. Shot didn't go down. Robert Morris had the ball with a chance to go up four, but they couldn't secure the rebound, so Lafayette's defense will get another chance.
Ran down checking on Tazinski, as well as giving instructions to Zach Rufer.
Did I say Lafayette's defense? Of course, I meant Lafayette's offense. Here comes Danny.
Chris with a nice move, and he loses the basketball.
He lost he lost his balance first and couldn't gather himself.
Now they need a defensive stop. 2.5 minutes to go. Somebody stop that guy. He's been on fire. Kind of stopped himself. Ball on the floor. Lafayette. Now slow to get up is Carvel Anderson.
Yeah, and he's as big a loss as Joey Tazinski would be.
Bryce Scott. No, that's way short. Bryce looking at the official for maybe a foul. Now we're going to get a Robert Morris timeout.
Yeah, both of these coaches now are going to try to coax this win out of their squads. And again, it shows the mutual respect they have for one another. And well, it's just a well-played basketball game. It'd be a great win for well, obviously, it'd be a great win for either team because of the way they're matched up and how good both of them can be.
It's only the third time these teams have met. Robert Morris has won both of them. The first meeting back in 2007, they won by 12. As you get a look at the half-court shot, by the way, on Friday night, this is a $1,000 shot, by the way. On Friday night, the first shot taken here at Kirby for $1,000.
Knocked it down.
Green. One more chance.
She's right there. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, that's a great effort of the young lady.
So they played in 07 and 08. Lafayette lost by 12 and 13 in those two matchups.
That little girl played before, I can tell. Just by her gait and her approach to that shot, guarantee it.
I used to shoot from right around there.
You always did. You would shoot. You never met a shot you didn't like. I heard all about you.
I didn't think they kept assists back then.
It wouldn't have made any difference. I can give you the number right now.
Under 2 minutes to go. Both teams are in the bonus. Up and in and a foul. Carvel Anderson has taken over this game.
Boy, he was very quiet until about 5 minutes ago. And there you see Bryce Scott. You got to close out on him because he's just a deadly shooter. And as soon as you do that, you know, Gary, he also avoided the big guy on the inside. So great body control and a great ability to finish.
He did this the other night. He had 3 points in the first half, 18 in the second. And he picks up another 3. This one the old-fashioned way. He has 10 second half points. And boy, that lead is now up to 5.
Just that quickly out. That's a bad mistake by the freshman.
And a bucket up and in by Deshaun Newton.
Well, I think in 2 games that might have been the one mistake we've seen Nick make. Fran O'Hanlon's going to take a timeout here, and just one of those things.
Fran upset with his basketball team right now. They're going to have to score and send the Colonials to the foul line. Take a look.
Yeah, just the pass just a little too soft, and Nick's going to learn from that. You know, he's got huge shoes to fill, and he will learn. And boy, you know, when he's well into his second game, one against Villanova, one against Robert Morris, and you say that's probably the first mistake he's made, that isn't bad.
Lafayette with 13 turnovers. Robert Morris with just 8.
Yeah, that's a big, Gary, you know, we don't have the monitor in front of us, but, you know, they went through the entire first half with 2 turnovers, only 6 here in the second half. And in a game this closely contested, you know, you can pick out any number of things. That's a key one.
Lafayette down 7. They need a big 3. They got it.
Yeah, gamer. He is a gamer. Fran's going to call a timeout, and all of a sudden we have a 4-point game right back into it.
Bryce Scott now with 23 points. Take a look.
Just off a little down screen, little dribble handoff on the perimeter. That creates some motion on the outside. Then you see Dan Triss come down and just had a hard screen. Bryce Scott catch and shoot just the way Fran O'Hanlon drew it up during the timeout.
Bryce has 3 threes in the ball game. He is a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. But now the attention turns to the defensive end.
Diane
Nolan.
Yeah, taking it in. Next to Pat Fisher, they go way back.
I wonder how many games those two have
How
seen.
about it? You know, I wonder if there's 1,000 wins there. There may be. But I have to tell you that, you know, I really miss my telestrator. Not for Coach Fisher and Diane, but for that last play that Lafayette drew.
I thought
up.
you might be drawing mustaches or something.
No, I wouldn't do that. No.
You do get a little clever and creative when we're off
Yes,
camera.
I do. I know.
All right, Leopards need to play D. They almost get a steal. Quickly down the floor.
Yeah.
Splitting the D was Myers-Pate.
And that's what Myers-Pate can do for you, Gary. He's not a scoring threat. Dribble, drive, and kick out. But it's tough to press a guy like him.
Leopards don't want to foul now unless they have to. Boy, that shot went up early, but it doesn't matter because there's Anderson again.
He's got, you know what? He can take it anytime he wants to when he's on this kind of roll.
So the Leopards looking for another triple. Try to get to within 3. And they'll get it out of Roofer. And he won't get it. And we're going to foul over the top. This will be on McFadden. And that will send Alan Flanagan to the foul line. Allen 0 for 2 from the line on the season. Has not been there. Oh, they're going to send Seth Hendricks. Ooh.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's okay.
Seth, one of the best free throw shooters in the entire country.
He's 5 for 5 on the year. 4 for 4 tonight, 15 points. Way to go, John.
You said he was 5 for 5. I just said he was one of the best in the country.
I think in the country is much more pressure than.
Well, when we're 27 games into the season, I want you to give me his free throw shooting percentage.
Okay.
Lafayette's going to press now.
Seth with 16.
Robert Morris is not a terrific shooting free throw team, so they still have to win this game from the line.
They shot 45 fouls in their last ball game. Made 64% of them. Ooh, that's a bad place to stop the dribble.
Hard to believe there wasn't a foul call there.
There's a grab by Tudzinski.
Fran wanted a 5-second call, and I don't know why he didn't get it. The referee was saying the ball was tipped. Now let's take a look at it.
1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
Now slow motion will do it.
Okay, well, yeah, it was like 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, what the referee
I didn't even see the official counting.
Well, what the referee was saying when Fran was yelling for it, he said he bobbled the basketball. I don't know if that interrupts the count or not. The ball was tipped away, but he still had possession of it. It's an interesting call.
Boy, if this guy ever plays thinking both halves or the second half.
Oh, my goodness.
18, 13 in the second half.
Boy, I'll tell you, he's got one of those shooting strokes.
Scott, floater, yep.
Can he finish or what? Bryce Scott trying to take this game on all by himself.
He now has 25 points.
He's done a terrific job. And, you know, give credit, Lafayette's defense, they're really causing Robert Morris some issues, but Robert Morris is barely escaping these traps. Remember, Robert Morris was down 11. Lafayette was on a real roll, and I think what Andy Toole will tell you is that it really was the defensive end. They tightened up a little bit. Lafayette wasn't getting the great looks. Now, having said that, when Joey Tudzinski went out, it was a big hit to the Leopard offense. He was on a great roll. Zach Rufer came in, had some open looks, but he'd been sitting around for a long, long time. That's a difficult spot to put a shooter in when you've been sitting for a long time and watching Joey Tudzinski do his thing.
Lafayette was up by 11. And then they hit a cold spell. And that got Robert Morris back in this game, and they haven't hit a cold spell since. So the Leopards need a miracle, down by 5 with 19 seconds to go. And the Colonials will get the basketball.
So you'll see full court pressure. Myers Pate will be the guy they'll try to get the ball to, if not this young man.
Emphatic from McFadden.
Well, you got to gamble. When you gamble like that, you're going to leave somebody open.
One to go. And the Leopards will foul. The Leopards are going to start 0-2 against two very good basketball teams. Andrew Toole will start 2-0. And he has himself another very good basketball team.
He really does, Gary. And you know they lack a little bit of size, but they're so well drilled. And you know Andy Toole learned from the best in Fran O'Hanlon and Fran Dunphy, and he's got these kids playing a terrific brand of basketball. And if it looks familiar, it's because that brand of basketball is the very same one that Lafayette uses. Just a little too much speed, a little too much quickness.
Boy, hard to believe that Carvel Anderson, if he makes this foul shot, will hit 21 points again.
Yeah, we got a double scoop of Carvel tonight. I was dying to use that all night long.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, you talked about that in the pregame. And you got it in at the very end. 90-81 is the final score as Robert Morris spoils the home opener here at the brand new Kirby Sports Center. And Lafayette's 5-game home winning streak is stopped. When we come back, it's the post-game show presented by the Maroon Club. Stay with us.